Hello, this is Mish from Downtime Distraction with a first look review of a title called Intrude. So with all our first look reviews, we define them in a different category than a full review by a few caveats. Please check the description below for specific details on those. Also, being open and honest, I received this review copy of this game for free. So what is this game? So Intrude is a single player, first person shooter inspired by the old FPS titles like Wolfenstein 3D and Doom, and you can probably already see that in the footage in the background as well. So there's an old underground base that's abandoned long ago, and suddenly it's taken over by some kind of military power or presence, and it's emitting some signal, and your mission is to enter the base and destroy the signal. So we've got 15 levels, 3 different modes. One mode is normal, the other modes are kind of a mix-up of the weapon type. So this is being developed and published by Michael Kruber. This is coming out on the 2nd of August at a price of $5.99 US or your regional equivalent. So let's talk about the gameplay and mechanics of this title. So it's got a simple yet solid design. Clearly the inspiration from Doom and Wolfenstein have been referenced a lot. I have completed the game in normal mode. It took me about 2 hours. So you've got 5 weapons that you slowly get access to. Also, just a couple of notable things with this game. So you can't pick up weapons, it has no multiplayer, you can't jump, and your health does not regenerate. You don't have a map, which can be a bit of a pain because the levels do look pretty similar, so you can often get confused whilst you're looking for the keys to unlock certain doors. But in saying that, it definitely brings back some nostalgia to the older games. Not very often anymore are you kind of scrambling around looking for keys to unlock doors, and also trying to find some health and some ammo, avoiding enemies whilst you're trying to find a health pack to get you back up to 25% health. It's pretty good. So the difficulty is well balanced. I got stuck a few times, but I really enjoyed kind of hunting around and going, okay, well there's enemies this way, I'll go the other way to get a health pack, then I'll come back. So it's quite cool. Different spin on, the older games that we used to play. Also, something interesting as well, the end screen per level. So it's a detail screen of all the things on a level. So how many enemies you've killed? Have you got all the secrets? Have you got the data logs? Have you exploded all the barrels in the level? So if you're a completionist, you probably quite like that. So you can kind of tick them all off. If not, you can go back and do it again. Also, the game's pacing is very quick, which is also reminiscent of those older games. Every now and again, it slows down because there's, I guess, a couple of rooms which are full of laser traps which you need to navigate around. So it's good to kind of bring things down, so you got to slowly walk around and go through those traps. So we've got those 3 game modes. So we've got the normal mode, and we have a mode which is more of an energy weapon mode. So all your weapons are firing energy shells. And the last one is an explosive one. So I guess, for example, your pistol's firing rockets. So it's good for replayability that you get a different spin on the weapons that you've got. Okay, so before we move on to a summary, let's jump in and just take a quick look at the options menu. Not a lot there because of the game type that, visually it's pretty limited, so there's not going to be a hell of a lot of options in there. So not a lot in here. But obviously the visual style of this game dictates that there's probably not going to be a lot. So we got resolution, and we got full screen mode, or windowed mode, VSync on or off, audio, so effects and music on separate options, which is good, and gameplay, Fov Slider, so that goes up to, well, not really slider, just Fov numbers, so that goes up to 100. And it did help me a little bit, so that's quite good to have that. Could have been a bit more, but that's quite acceptable. And we have mouse sensitivity and crosshair on and off. That is really it. We have a bit of information here about, I guess you can rebind your the basic weapons. So you got the 5 weapons there. That's a knife, pistol, shotgun, minigun, and rocket launcher. So you can change what they're on. But nothing else is rebindable. But still, basics are in here, so that is acceptable. Alrighty, so the summary. Let's start with graphics. I liked the graphic style. Very old school retro pixel design, but also very clean, and obviously very heavy influence by those previous games from the latter years. I would have liked to have seen more variety with the level design though. They all look very similar, so each zone has 5 levels and the assets are reused in those zones. So for those 5 levels it's very repetitive. The environments are very similar. I'd like to have seen maybe that mixed up a bit more, or maybe even less levels and just add another zone with just a couple of levels. It would have been good to have something like that. But these are clearly the constraints of a small indie developer. So let's move on to audio. The weapon sounds are actually pretty good. All other assets are pretty good as well. The music tracks are very good. Once again, retro but clean and very reminiscent of those older games. But the thing is, it's still, I want to say it again, the zone, it's limited to the zone. So the same track is played for each level in the zone. So could have been more tracks in there, but still I did enjoy it, and I didn't find it too repetitive because I enjoyed the tracks. But if you don't like the tracks, obviously you can turn the music off and maybe just put on your own music in the background. It might help you out there. But yeah, I mean, there's positives and negatives in those points, obviously. Good tracks, but just not enough. So the gameplay. So as I've said a few times, clearly heavily used those ideas from Doom and Wolfenstein 3D. And are you okay with that? Well, ultimately that's a personal choice. For me, I didn't mind it. The game to me feels like it knows its roots and it's just trying to get back to those roots in a simplistic way by an indie developer. And it does it for me without sullying or desecrating those other games that I used to play. It doesn't improve on those games. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's less than those games, but it's still enjoyable. Of course, for many people, they may just say, "Oh, this is a rip-off. I hate it." But I'm going to lean to the positive side and say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So for me, it brings back those nostalgic memories from old school FPS games, finding keys, secrets, health, running out of health and having to try and find health packs, ammo being so scarce, running around figuring out that you can't go that way because you don't have any health, have to go the other way to find a health pack. So it's pretty good. Very simplistic though. But for a $5 game, what are you kind of expecting? If you're a fan of those original games and you don't mind someone else putting a spin on those games in a retro style, you may enjoy this. Whilst this game is good and amiable, it could have really been some shining beacon of light, shining on the older games with just a few more features if they just added them. Things like if they added more weapons, more variety with the levels, more zones, more music, maybe even a map editor, multiplayer deathmatch, team deathmatch, co-op. If they've just pushed it to add those features, that would have made this game stand head and shoulders above the crowd. But saying that, this game is still fun. For a little $5 game, I can't say no, don't get this. If you're into those old style games, you're going to have a little bit of fun with this. $5, I don't think there's much harm here. So I hope this video has been enjoyable and helpful. I've enjoyed my time with this game, and I've enjoyed making this video. So this has been Mesh from Downtime Distractions. Please subscribe for more updates from us, and like, comment and share. And until next time, cheerio.